We're here today to talk about Nightfall Games' latest RPG set in the StokerVerse called the StokerVerse RPG. So what's the StokerVerse? There's a lot of gamers out there have been asking me this, and the StokerVerse is an authentic extension of Bram Stoker's universe. It's not just about Dracula, of course he features in there, but we've also got characters like Jack the Ripper, Jekyll and Hyde, various creatures in the asylum, secret societies, Frankenstein's creature, and demonic texts on classic Victorian literary characters, such as Miss Havisham, if you remember her from Dickens' Great Expectation. And we also have werewolves.
Chris, I got to just tell you, it's so cool to be doing this right now. Obviously, the Kickstarter is out. Nightfall is doing very well with it. We're trying to unlock more levels. But this is the 175th birthday of Bram's. It's the 125th anniversary of Dracula and Bram's 175th birthday on November the 8th. And all this is happening at the same time, which is fantastic. I think, when you look at an RPG game, as you talked to me about this way at the beginning, we started this, a year or so ago, the similarities between Bram Stoker's managerial duties at the Lyceum Theatre and the theatrics that that go with that, and the theatrical applications of an RPG game. I think Bram would be very proud on this anniversary for that we are continuing his legacy in the StokerVerse. But I also got to tell you that when we talk about Jack the Ripper, in the actual preface, the original preface to Dracula, he mentioned the Jack the Ripper murders. Of course, they were going on while Bram was writing this story. He was very well versed and aware of Jekyll and Hyde, because they actually, this was turned into a play in the theaters with the actor Mansfield. His transformation was so compelling during this play that people had to, they toned it down on theaters because there was such a flashpoint because people were very afraid of the Ripper murders going on and the police not able to stop them. This was also a time that you and I have chatted about a lot, because you're a Freemason. Bram Stoker was a Freemason, as was Henry Irving. And there was some connections that Bram Stoker may have attended a meeting or two of the Order of the Golden Dawn. Werewolves, when Bram Stoker actually did his research, he left behind some notes that he discovered werewolves in a Reverend Sabine Baring-Gould's book on werewolves. So I don't know if this is where it actually started in literature, but boy, he got it early with Baring-Gould. And we've decided to give a really cool take on werewolves and introduce those into this RPG as well. And let's not forget fellow Irishman Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu's Carmilla. There's no question that Bram was influenced in a little bit that way. We know he actually started to write Dracula in Styria as where Carmilla was set. So that's important as well. So she was one of the earlier literary vampires, and we've had to include her, Carmilla, in the StokerVerse as well. Yeah,
absolutely. We changed her slightly. She's Dracula's niece. We got that little tie-in with Dracula, and she's the leader of the European vampire court. So within the StokerVerse, there are vampire courts sort of scattered throughout the globe, and they all have their own sort of little factions and goals and things that's going on there. Primarily, she's working with the nobility in London to a few devious ends. We've looked at where possibly what Dracula was up to during London in the original novel, and she sort of ties in with that.
So we've got some great stories that reach back into the origins of Le Fanu and Stoker, really cool folklore that we've brought back to life and kept these great writers together. So Chris, as this Kickstarter is going on, what exactly are the stretch goals and what's been unlocked at this point? Can you tell our listeners that?
Yeah, so when we hit 7K, we unlocked The Curious Case of the Wilhelms, which is a PDF adventure seed that the CEO of Nightfall Games, Mark Rapson, and myself are writing. So it's going to feature on this Wilhelm family. And then when we hit 8.5K, we unlocked 2 new pages, which detail out new lieutenants of the Dark Lord, and they get added to the rulebook and PDF. So they feature all new art by Clint Langley. Clint Langley's artwork is phenomenal. For anybody who follows comic books, they're going to know Clint's work in 2000 AD. And if you're a gamer, you're going to certainly know his work with Warhammer 40k. It's beautiful, just that gruesome, visceral. It gives a real authentic feel to the Stokerverse. Just it's so visceral. And then when we hit 10k, we got a new page featuring non-player characters. So the author's guide gets a new page, and it focuses on Victorian London. The Stokerverse is set in a real world Victorian London. There's been painstaking research that has really taken place and has been put in the book for this. We hit 12k, and we started injecting more were characters. So not just werewolves, but more were characters. So again, it shows that the Stokerverse is expanding out. It's not just Dracula, but expanding out into different types of creatures. And I think yesterday we hit just over the 13.5k, and that has secured a PDF adventure by Ben Greybeaton and myself entitled mysteriously The Cat. And that's going to be very interesting. We're going to be tying that into a previous Stokerverse graphic novel adventure called The Virgin's Embrace. Now, when we hit 15k, and we're very close to it, we're going to get 2 new pages. And these are going to be set in the mental institution St. Mary of Bethlehem. And they're entitled Bedlam. So again, ties into another Stokerverse novel that we worked on called Dracula's Bedlam. And it looks at what goes on within the asylum, new creatures, really expanding out your game. Once we hit 16k, then there's going to be 2 new pages that focus on areas beyond London. So we're always about giving more value to gamers. So we're starting to expand out to the coastal towns of Brighton and Dover. When we hit 17k, we're going to get a really fancy cover for the Kickstarter exclusive book. I've seen it. It's beautiful. It's called a Spot UV cover. It's wonderful. And it's just going to really just pop whenever you hold it in your hand. When we hit 18k, we are going to do vampires versus werewolves. So this is going to be another PDF adventure seed where the adventurers get caught up in a local disagreement. And if we hit the 18k, then we're going to move on to more stretch goals. And then we'll maybe do another video and talk about those.
Well, Chris, thank you. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. There's many ways to play the game, right? And obviously it's not just about Dracula. We've expanded the universe to more than Dracula. So give us a little bit about how the game is played and what you expect as you go through the different parts of it.
Yeah, so to give you an idea of how one of the ways you could play this game, or how a GM could run it, imagine you're being trapped in the darkness of the asylum. So in front of you, there's a faint glow of a candle, and it's illuminating a shambling, shuffling figure. It's edging closer towards you. And in a few terrifying moments, you can start to make out the figure of what appears to be a nurse. But her face has been rearranged and stitched together like a Picasso painting. So one eye's here, one eye's down there, and she's got the slash for a mouth. Behind you, you can hear the chattering and gnashing of teeth as a former patient who has been ruthlessly experimented upon comes towards you. And in place of hands are sharp, curved blades. His eyes are hanging, drooping out the sockets, and his teeth are crooked and sharp. Now, God knows what has happened to these 2 former human individuals and what agonies they faced. You know, one, a lady who sought to give help, one, a man seeking help, and now they're fully possessed by whatever demons torment them. So you can play an entire scenario about the asylum and finding out secrets of the asylum. And, you know, it can be really terrifying. It can be a very claustrophobic, terrifying game setting. But perhaps then you're investigating the bloody path left by Jack the Ripper through the foggy streets of London. Or maybe you're uncovering a mystery revolving around werewolves and secret societies, or possibly a mystery linked to the secret societies and the royal family. So the StokerVerse RPG is a perfect sandbox for a gothic Hellraiser environment that games masters can use for investigative adventures, dungeon crawling, and action-based scenarios.
Chris, that's great. I'm sure you could talk for hours, but we got to get on and play this game sometime soon. So folks, remember, Nightfall Games StokerVerse RPG. To get this product, you got to click on the link below and pledge whatever level you're comfortable with. You will not be disappointed.